You're watching the TCMMA podcast.
Now, in the co-main event, arguably the main event. I mean, this is serious. Two undefeated fighters. We couldn't wait to get here. Shavkat Rakhmonov, 18-0. Ian Machado Garry, 15-0. And it doesn't get much better than this. And credit Shavkat for taking this fight. Ian Garry was supposed to fight uh, the following week at UFC Tampa. Well, he got bumped to this one. And Shavkat could have just easily said, no, I'll wait and fight Bilal for the title. But instead, he's taking a big risk against a guy that's really good in Ian Machado Garry, and we really don't know how this fight's going to go down. So let's get into some old reactions, right, involving both these guys. But let's begin with Ian Garry versus D-Rod. When Ian Garry came up with the big finish. Check this out. Nice jab there by Ian Garry. 90 seconds in. And so far, he's not having the big problems with the left-hander as I thought. It's tough when you're a righty, right? I mean, lefties are used to facing righties because there's more righties. But when you're a righty and you face a left-hander, now your lead leg are banging each other almost. You know, your power punch is farther away. But Garry doing a good job getting off on the jabs here. And he's taking on a real striker. And you see a headbutt right there, or a clash as they both come in. Oh, and a nice leg kick by Garry. And he was just called out earlier from one of the winning fighters because, you know, that guy got the finish and Ian Garry took the guy to a decision. So basic premise is Ian Garry needs a finish here if he really wants to up his ante. D-Rod with some nice uppercuts. They don't land, but letting them know. Remember, D-Rod is ranked number 15, so with a win here, Ian Garry could get into the top 15 and become ranked in the welterweight division. Oh, and a nice leg kick. D-Rod goes down. Ian Garry on top. Look at this. D-Rod's covering up. Yeah, that head kick, I think, did it. Boy, and he's pounding away. Wow, and Ian Garry unloads, and it's over. And the crowd goes crazy. And did they say 12-0? I thought he had a loss. Wow, okay. Yeah. Yeah, Ian Garry 12-0. Unbelievable, man. And D-Rod was 17-3. This guy was no joke. And he gets the KO at 2:32. So big ups to Ian Garry. Big win here. And what is this, 4 or 5 finishes in a row? Unbelievable. Back into the win column for us, though. We'll take it. And he really unloaded at the end to get the stoppage. And actually, it'll be 2:02 into the first round. So it took him just over 2 minutes to get the KO. He'll be ranked welterweight division, UFC, fight night. Yeah, so he's had a couple of decisions since then, but it shows you that, you know, he can go on a streak where he's just finishing people. Of course, it's going to get harder when you move up levels, but Ian Machado Garry is the truth at 15-0. Now, Shavkat is no stranger to finishes either, right? Like his last fight against Stephen Thompson, where he got the big submission. Check this out. And here we go. Come on, Shavkat. You got to do something, man. Oh, gets to the back. 25 seconds left. Come on, Shavkat. Oh. Oh, come on. Finish it. Finish it. 10 seconds left. Come on, finish it. He's close. He's tapping. That's it. Let's go. 18-0, baby. Shavkat gets the submission. Wow. 4 seconds left in the round. And that's a big deal. Okay. Now we're talking. Okay. Now we're talking. 18-0. Big finish. Over Stephen Thompson. So now you got to put him in the discussion. That's the bottom line. Shavkat gets the big win here. Thompson's going to fall to 17-7. Unbelievable. Welterweight division. UFC 296. Yeah, so both guys are ridiculous, capable of getting finishes at any given time. And again, 18-0 versus 15-0. You see here on the dude list, Shavkat's number 5, Ian Machado Garry number 10. They're both in the top 10. And the dude list is like our favorite fighters. It's not a pound for pound list. These are our favorite fighters. Whoever's at the, Shavkat's above Ian Machado Garry, so that should mean I'm predicting him to win. But hold on, we're gonna have to wait and see uh, if that's the way it turns out. But make no mistake, these are two guys that I highly regarded in the world of MMA, and where they're both undefeated, we really don't know what's going to happen. I mean, we just don't. So, without further ado, let's jump into the prediction right now. In the welterweight division, your co-main event at UFC 310. This might be one of the biggest fights of the year. You got Shavkat Rakhmonov, 18-0, taking on Ian Machado Garry. He's 15-0, and credit both of these guys for taking this fight. This is incredible. Shavkat was expected to fight Bilal Muhammad for the title. He could just sit back and wait for that title fight, but he says no. Bring on Ian Garry. Rakhmonov fighting out of Kazakhstan. Ian Garry fighting out of Ireland. Ian Garry's 2 inches taller at 6'3". He's 27. Rakhmonov 30. Rakhmonov 2-inch reach advantage. Both guys stand right-handed. Ian Garry is more active on the feet. 5.5 significant strikes per minute to 4.1 for Rakhmonov. But the takedown game, that slides to Rakhmonov. He lands like 1 every other round. He may have to improve on that number in this fight. Ian Garry gets like 1 every 4, so he's more of a pure striker. Rakhmonov, 100% takedown defense. In his win against Stephen Thompson by submission, he had 1 takedown and 2 submission attempts. Also led on the feet, dominated Jeff Neal on the feet, ended up getting the submission in that fight. Beat Neil Magny by submission. So he's won 3 straight fights by submission and only had 3 takedowns in those 3 fights. He submitted Jeff Neal without either fighter landing a takedown. So that's crazy. The guy's undefeated in the UFC, obviously. He's looking really good, and he has an uncanny ability to get finishes. He has yet to go to a decision in the UFC. Now, Ian Garry, a.k.a. The Future, coming off the win over MVP Michael Venom Page by decision. That was a big one. Close fight, though. He did it with 2 takedowns and kind of ran the clock out. Beat Jeff Neal by split decision. So that's something to keep an eye on here. He did outstrike Jeff Neal, but Shavkat dominated him. Beat Neil Magny by decision. Beat D-Rod by KO. Beat Song Keenan by KO. So he's undefeated in the UFC too. I mean, it's incredible what both of these guys have done. But the bottom line is Gary's going to have to get off on the feet and really, really protect the takedowns. Right? 70% takedown defense is good, a little better than average, but not when you got a guy like Shavkat who's really going to be focused on either trying to get you to the ground or trying to submit you. Can Ian Garry really lengthen this fight? Right? Keep the fight on the feet, keep each other separated, and do it that way, because he's going to have to. He's going to have to. If he finds himself on the ground, it's going to be a short fight. So he's got to keep himself on the feet, stay away from submission attempts. Easier said than done. But as much as I don't want to go against either fighter, and in any other fight I would not. I mean, this is a title fight to me. But Bilal holds the belt right now. I still got to lean towards Shavkat Rakhmonov. I mean, the guy finishes everybody. And maybe that's just not Ian Garry's makeup. You know, he wins by decision. That's great too. But the bottom line is I can't go against Shavkat when they're both undefeated, but he's undefeated and he's won every fight in the UFC by finish. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So I like Shavkat to win this fight. Don't know if he'll finish Ian Garry. That will be a big deal. But he's still more than a 3-1 favorite. I don't think Ian Garry should be that big of an underdog. But the bottom line is I like Shavkat Rakhmonov to get the job done here. The bigger question to me is, will he get the finish? We'll have to wait and see. But he'll move to 19-0 and be that much closer to the welterweight title, where he'll take on Bilal Muhammad sometime in 2025. This is, of course, my opinion. We'll see. Welterweight division, co-main event, UFC 310. And we've seen a lot of big fights this year, but arguably this is the biggest fight of the year because in no other fight are we getting like 2 undefeated guys. Who knows how it turns out? It might not be the best fight of the year, but going into it, it's arguably the biggest fight of the year. And we'll take Shavkat Rakhmonov because we have to pick one. But both guys are capable of winning, and we really don't know what's going to happen until they lock horns. When you look at what the people are saying, and of course this is just put up, so we're only 24 votes in, but you can see the momentum already for Shavkat. 71% of the vote early on, and it might close to 60-40, 60 some 30, like say 65-35, something like that. But you can tell Shavkat is leading in that area in terms of the vote of the people. So if that changes significantly, we'll update that, but that's where it's at early on.
He's gon' fight, he's gon' fight. Hold your breath till the end of the night. Last fight of call, UFC at its height. Bringing that thunder with all his might. Saying, step up, wanna fight? Hold up, think twice. Gladiator, assassin, reckless, no abandon. Walk through that cage, he'll leave your ass.